Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couchbrotatopodcast. Coming up on today's show, LA Police Detective Jack Traven gets stuck in a life or death situation when madman Howard Payne rigs an LA bus with a bomb that will detonate if the bus drops below 50 miles an hour. With passenger Annie Porter at the wheel, Traven must find a way to save passengers on the bus and innocent bystanders. That's right, gang. We are going to dive into 1994 Speed right here, right now on the Couch Brotato Podcast.
For LA cop Jack Traven.
Bomber wants $3 million or he blows the emergency brakes.
Anything else that'll keep this elevator from falling?
The basement. The game began with the ultimate test.
There's a bomb on a bus. What do you do?
Now, he's the only solution.
Where's Jack? Where do you think?
Everybody hold on!
Keanu Reeves.
You have a hair trigger aimed at your head. What do?
Speed.
All right, after numerous reschedulings and stuff coming up at the last minute, we're finally sitting down to record this episode.
Most cursed episode of the podcast?
No, that I still think that has to be Die Hard. Lucas got COVID real early in COVID, and he would text me and he would tell me that he was good to go. And then like 2 hours later, he'd tell me like, I can't record tonight, dude. Because it literally feels like my body's on fire.
Yeah, I remember he fell asleep making eggs at one point during that COVID.
Yeah, and then on top of that, me and my son, he had never seen Die Hard. So I'm like, oh, this might be a cool one to introduce the young lad to Die Hard. Because he was due to watch it. And we had gotten through maybe 50 minutes of it, and I noticed that his microphone was not plugged in.
Oh.
Or something happened to where it was either his microphone wasn't plugged in or no, I remember it now. The SD card in my Zoom had been corrupted. So we didn't have anything. So
yeah, that's the most cursed episode. Never mind.
Yeah, this one just we've experienced life delays. My son's baseball game on Monday night got rescheduled to where it was pretty much going to be too late for us to sit down and record. And then you had a work related thing yesterday. So here we are tonight.
Finally.
Yeah. You would think that we lead really exciting lives to where we have to postpone sitting down and talking about something that we love, but we don't. Life gets in the way.
Yeah, the boring parts of life get in the way of the fun parts.
Yeah, doing some dadding and some adulting. Man, if we were like 16,
dadding isn't necessarily boring, but
no, it's not. I'd agree with that. But if we were like 16 or 17-year-old kids, we would be pumping out content left and right.
Yeah, we would be like, I don't even know what popular streamers are now, so never mind. I was going to equate us to somebody, but I don't know. I'm out of the loop.
Oh, dude, I'm a 45-year-old white dad that used to think I was pretty cool and up on pop culture, and the only YouTuber that I know of is Mr. Beast. That's because he gives away money.
For views, nonetheless.
Yeah, my kids have told me about him. That's the only way that's how I know about Mr. Beast. If I didn't have them, I would probably have no idea who he was.
Yeah, I know him from that dumb smile he has on his thumbnails, and that's about it.
Well, now that you can listen or watch the show on YouTube, we don't have actual video of us recording yet, but you can watch the podcast on YouTube now. maybe we should start doing something like that too, but like to a much lesser extent. Like we will send you like 50 cents if you've.
Yeah. I mean, I can put up a tenner.
Well, I've got enough McDonald's points to where if, like, say one of our listeners, like, you know what, I am just scraping by on fumes. I have no money till payday tomorrow. I'm really hungry. You know what? I could redeem it for a double cheeseburger or a quarter pounder or something like that.
There you go.
We're not rich enough yet to
they got
just give
that,
away like big.
No McFlurries or anything. That's too many points. But
I could
fine.
I could do a McFlurry. I've got tons of points. I rarely use them at McDonald's. I just do their 20% off your order.
Oh yeah.
Hit that coupon, and then that's what I use. And then like I just realized like fuck, I could have probably gotten this sandwich for free, but well, enough of us talking about life. We are here to talk about one of our favorite action movies, and it was a member of the inaugural class of the Couch Potato Podcast Action Hall of Fame, which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Cheap plug of the episode. We're about 5 minutes into that, so we're a little late compared to our last episode.
We are.
Which I don't even remember when that was. I mean, I know Pepperidge Farm remembers, but I sure don't. A couple weeks ago?
Yeah. It was probably about the time Pepperidge Farm was founded.
Right.
When that happened.
Yeah. Back in the old days where we recorded off of like 2 cans on a string. But we are going to talk about 1994 Speed, which I got to see firsthand. They used to do something here in town, and I'm pretty sure this was a thing back in the 90s, but they used to do sneak previews where you could actually go watch a movie, and then you were invited to stick around and watch a second feature for free. So I had seen trailers for this, like, that might be kind of cool, a bus has a bomb on it. I'll check it out. I remember it had Johnny Utah and Bill S. Preston. I'm like, okay, this might be pretty good. But the main draw for me was if you watched Speed, you got to stick around and watch Beverly Hills Cop 3, which I was a huge fan of at the time. And holy shit, was I completely wrong about what the better movie was coming out of that. Like, Speed was fucking awesome. I actually couldn't wait for it to actually come out theaters because I think I went and seen it again. And Beverly Hills Cop 3 sucked. So I got to see this in the movie theater prior to it opening. So that was pretty cool. But I was just blown away by it. When was the first time you got to check this out?
So I got to check this out. I was still a little young when it was in theaters, but I think I saw it from a Blockbuster rental afterwards. Super cool movie. I think it was the first movie I've seen Keanu Reeves in.
Oh yeah, you were.
I think so.
Yeah, you would have been too young for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Point Break.
Yeah, I actually saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when I was in high school. I didn't get to see that until I was in high school.
That too is a movie I got to see in movie theaters too. My mom fucking hates that movie. Hates them. Hates.
I love that movie.
Hates. I know she's only seen 1 and 2, and I can take a wild stab and say she will never watch Face to Music.
Probably not.
Yeah, I one of these days we'll pick a movie where you actually got to see this as a youngster in a movie theater. I keep like every time I pick these, like, oh, that'd be a cool one, and then like, well, fuck, Adam probably didn't see that till at best the dying days of VHS.
Now, I did see, we did do Jurassic Park, and I did see Jurassic Park in theater. Well, it was the drive-in theater. So I saw the kid movie at the beginning of it, and I don't even remember what it was, to be honest. But then Jurassic Park was playing right afterwards, and I was supposed to be asleep in the back of the car, but I watched Jurassic Park.
Well, your parents had to have known that anything with dinosaurs was going to pique a youngster's fancy. I mean, it
right.
does.
It does.
But
I did see that in theaters.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one to go see in theaters. But what was your thoughts on Speed when you finally seen it?
So I actually really dug it. I think it was the first action movie like that I had seen. I had seen Speed before I saw Die Hard too, and Speed is essentially Die Hard on a bus.
Well, that was the thing is Die Hard started this trend where it was basically Die Hard on a blank. And I think that that premise probably ran until maybe the 2013, 14, somewhere in there. Basically, the plot is the movie takes place in a confined setting. It could be anywhere. It could be in a high-rise corporation. It could be on a battleship. It could be on a train. It could be at a hockey game with an everyman hero, somebody that doesn't fit the mold of like an action movie star, like an Arnold or a Stallone. Although Stallone actually did one of these Die Hard on a Blank movies with Cliffhanger. But I think that this actually, the Die Hard on a Blank premise actually peaked with this.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because I know, go ahead.
It's honestly the first action movie like this that I had seen because I was so young when I had seen it. But it piqued my interest in action movies like it. So like, I think, honestly, I don't think I've seen another movie other than Die Hard that comes even close to that kind of genre.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some good ones that have, like before Speed, I would say Cliffhanger would probably be, Cliffhanger and Under Siege, because Under Siege is Die Hard on a battleship. I would say that those are probably very good examples of this particular premise done well. But after that, we got like Speed. Obviously, like I'm saying, it's the peak. But then after that, I mean, Under Siege 2, I'm just going through here. Sudden Death, which I do love. That's Die Hard at a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Jean-Claude Van Damme's a security guard. Or no, he's an EMT. And somehow the goalie for the Penguins gets sick, and he, like, his backstory is he was a semi-pro goaltender in Canada and plays goaltender for the Penguins in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. But yeah, I'm just going down this list. Alcatraz, Die Hard at Alcatraz, The Rock, that was obviously a great one too. But yeah, I think they started kind of getting spotty. I mean, we got like Air Force One, Con Air, Olympus Has Fallen, that's kind of like that too. But yeah, this genre got just done and redone. But I think it peaked.
Yeah.
With Speed.
Now, the other Die Hard movies, notwithstanding, I mean, Die Hard 2 and 3 were fantastic movies.
Well, I don't know. Does Die Hard with a Vengeance qualify as the Die Hard on a Blank? Because it basically takes place in New York City.
Yeah. Well, Die Hard 3 definitely.
Die Hard 2 takes place in an airport.
Yeah, and that's Die Hard in an airport. I don't know. Die Hard 3 it fits the genre, but it is a larger, because Speed is everywhere. It's just also on the bus primarily.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of the action takes place inside the bus.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can make the argument too. Cliffhanger is Die Hard on the mountains, and I mean,
it's everywhere. Yeah,
they cover quite a bit of ground in that. So yeah, I guess Die Hard with a Vengeance would count.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite by far of the Die Hard on a Blank premise.
Agreed.
All right, well, you ready to knock out some categories?
Yes.
All right. If you're wondering what the fuck is Speed about, an LA cop, played by Keanu Reeves, is trapped on a runaway city bus set to explode if it falls under 50 miles an hour. He requires the help of one of the terrified passengers, played by Sandra Bullock, to steer the bus to safety.
That is what Speed is about.
That is. The Tale of the Tape, this is rated R, so it's not appropriate for the kiddies, although my son has seen this. He's 13. I think he's seen it when he was younger than that. So, I don't know. Use your discretion. This was released on June 10th, 1994, so this actually just turned 30 years old last week. We should send it a cake.
We should. At least, what's the 30th anniversary? I don't even know. Is it like, it's like paper?
No, it's definitely not paper. Because I think your 25th is like your silver anniversary, isn't it?
Is it? It might be.
I don't know. I haven't hit that threshold yet.
Yeah. Here, let's see. Google doesn't know either. So.
Oh, well. What the fuck good are you, Google? This movie stars Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper, Jeff Daniels, and Joe Morton. Directed by Jan de Bont in his directorial debut. And fun fact, Jan de Bont was the cinematographer on Die Hard.
Makes sense.
And we got a little bit of backstory as to how he got this job coming up in the Did You Know part of the show.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes scored 95% from critics and 76% from audiences, which I was baffled by. Like, that's kind of low. I thought for sure when I looked this up, this is probably going to be in the 90s, but no, 76% of people have seen this liked it.
I can see that, but only because I can see some gripes with the movie. But I like it for what it is.
I love it. It's probably action movie wise top 5 for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was a unanimous pick in the action movie Hall of Fame. I think all 3 of us voted for that. So
yeah, fantastic.
The consensus was a terrific popcorn thriller. Speed is taut, tense, and energetic with outstanding performances from Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock. Box office had a $37 million budget, made $350 million. So it was a pretty successful film. And I remember this was like the big action movie up until True Lies came out like a month later. I mean, like, so it had, for action fans, is like, that's pretty much all we had. So it legged out quite a bit. I used to really be into like the box office, and I think I remember this movie just constantly being in the top 5 for weeks, which that never happens now.
I was gonna say that's some legs.
This movie did win Best Sound and Best Sound Editing at the 67th Academy Awards.
Okay.
And you can watch this right now on Stars, which I don't know anybody that has Stars, but if you do, or if you want to sign up for a free trial, you can watch Speed on that. Or you can just go rent it or buy it on Vudu or Apple TV or whatever they're called now, or Prime Video, wherever you get your movies. So,
or in 4K on Blu-ray if you're still into that sort of thing.
And if you can find a store that sells them.
Right. I haven't. Okay.
Yeah, I know you do. I think I shot you $5 for the code.
Well, yeah, that's right.
All right. Did you know this is the part of the program where we offer you some little fun facts and tidbits about the production and behind the scenes making of the movie? This one, first one caught me off guard, and I had not heard this name in quite a long time. But while this film was in development at Paramount, which I know they shopped it around, Paramount had the rights originally, and then they eventually gave them up. But Jeff Speakman was attached to star in this. And if you don't know who that is, and I'm going to bet that 99.9% of you that listen to the show probably don't know who Jeff Speakman is. He did a movie in 91 called The Perfect Weapon. And I remember it distinctly because the opening sequence of the movie is him in sweatpants, no shirt on, doing some kind of martial arts warm up to that early 90s song, rap song, I Got the Power.
Very memorable.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, though. He left once the movie was sold to 20th Century Fox. Stephen Baldwin was offered the role of Jack Traven, but declined because he felt the script was too much like Die Hard.
Hey, go figure.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'm going to do this movie with Pauly Shore called Biodome instead.
Oh, great.
Smart choice. Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson were all considered before DeBont chose Keanu Reeves based on his performance in Point Break.
Good choice.
Good choice. I think we are on record as saying that we feel that Keanu Reeves is the greatest action star in movie history, right?
Agreed. Yep.
The role of Annie was offered to Halle Berry, but she turned it down, which she later regretted. Then the role was written to make a comedic sidekick out of the Annie role with Ellen DeGeneres in mind. Woof.
Yeah. Ugh.
Ultimately, they stuck with the original plan and cast Sandra Bullock. Meryl Streep, Kim Basinger, and Anne Heche were also considered.
I think they did a good job with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, dude, this movie made her a star.
Yeah.
Because I think she had done Demolition Man and Love Potion. I know she did Love Potion #9 before this, but I think Demolition Man came out before this too. And Demolition Man was good, but didn't quite hit like Speed did.
Yeah, I think she hadn't done very much before Speed. And I think it was those two things were the biggest things.
Mm-hmm. And she took the championship belt as America's Sweetheart right out of Julia Roberts' hands with this. Julia Roberts was the queen of I think it would be her or Meg Ryan. But she said, nope, it's my time now. And she just fucking stole it from him. And she had it for quite a long time, I think.
Yeah.
Jan de Bont cast Dennis Hopper as the villain Howard Payne because he wanted the character to be a regular guy who just snaps one day.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper is a regular guy.
Well, as regular of a guy as Dennis Hopper can be. I mean, Dennis Hopper
as regular, yeah.
Dennis Hopper is fucking if you look up quirky in the dictionary, it's probably got a picture of Dennis Hopper's face.
He's the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that was a nice old man that worked at the post office until he literally went postal. So and instead he worked as a bomb squad expert, but you get the picture.
I always like that scene in the movie, not stepping on what our favorite scene in the movie is, but I always like that scene where he's watching the cameras and he's got a Coke and he's watching football while this bus is just going down the highway, trying not to explode.
Yeah.
Let's see. My phone shut off. John McTiernan, the director of Die Hard, turned this down because it too reminded him too much of Die Hard. So he suggested to Fox they hire Jan de Bont, his cinematographer on Die Hard. This I found to be fascinating. Rennie Harlan and one Quentin Tarantino were offered the opportunity to direct this movie and they turned it down.
I mean, Quentin Tarantino would have made it way more intense than it was.
It would have been a different movie with Tarantino at the helm. Actually, though, this is one of Tarantino's favorite movies of the 1990s.
Oh, I mean, whose list doesn't have this on there for 90s favorite movies though?
Well, I find it to be surprising that he does.
No, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't find it as surprising as say somebody who doesn't really follow Tarantino a lot, because I know Tarantino adores Unstoppable, which we also have done on this program. You can get it wherever you listen to podcasts. But yeah, like it, when I seen it, I was like, oh, cool. Like Tarantino really digs Speed, which I found to be very cool. Craig T. Nelson was offered the role of Captain. Now, I don't know if this is an IMDb screw up, but they call it on IMDb, they refer to Joe Morton's character as Captain McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear in the movie they call him McMillan. He's referred to throughout the movie mostly as Mac.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember. I just watched it and I don't remember.
And I think on his vest it says McMillan too.
I think it does.
So I don't know. I think IMDb shit the bed on this. Well, the character of Mac, but he couldn't commit due to filming the TV show Coach. So in turn, they cast Joe Morton based on the recommendation of James Cameron, who had just worked with him on Terminator 2. He's Miles Dyson.
Mm-hmm.
So good call. He's like really good in that too.
Yeah.
Joe Morton's one of those guys that like, I don't think he's ever going to be like an A-list star, but like you can put him in something, he's probably going to like hit a home run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good utility guy.
I was going to say, well, like one of those guys that you have just in your cast to just uplift it.
Mm-hmm. The film literally ran out of money before it was completed. When the film was first previewed for an audience, the subway scenes were animated storyboards. The audience loved them so much, the studio came up with the funds to shoot the scenes properly.
There you go.
I don't know. I picture it being like that Aha video that was that Take Me On.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I would actually like to see that version of it. Like, they should make that a special feature. Like, here's the uncompleted version of Speed. The bus jump scene was not in the original script. Jan de Bont came up with the idea one day when he was driving around Los Angeles and noticed one section of the I-105 freeway was missing.
Okay.
De Bont insisted that Keanu Reeves get a sensible haircut that would befit a hardworking cop. Fox executives were so horrified when they saw the buzz cut, they threatened to postpone the film until he grew his hair back.
Wow.
A total of 13 buses were used during the filming of this. I kind of went a little ham on these behind the scenes because like I was just kept reading this stuff and I just found all of it so fascinating. So I'm hoping that if I found it fascinating, somebody's going to find it just as cool too.
Oh, I do. If nobody listening does, I do.
A special bus was used for the bus jump scene. This bus was modified so it could reach a speed of 70 miles an hour, and it was equipped with powerful shock absorbers. Well, no shit. I've never seen a bus jump at all. So I'm sure they don't build those with like super shock absorbers.
Right.
The driver's seat was...
the engine is in the back too. So it's heavier in the back than it is in the front. It has to have that stuff on it.
The driver's seat was moved back 15 feet, so if something went wrong, the driver wasn't ejected from the bus. The seat itself was a suspension mechanism between the ceiling and the bus floor to prevent the driver from suffering spinal compression on impact. That might have been a little too much into the weeds.
Well,
but still, though.
At least they didn't use a model. They could have, but they did not.
Now, I think if stuntman Mike McKay was an actual stuntman, which for those of you that don't know who he is, he's Kurt Russell's character in Death Proof, which I find to be Tarantino's weakest movie, but stuntman Mike is one of my favorite Tarantino characters. But he would have made it Death Proof. He just would have put a roll cage on it and just fucking rolled with it. The last one that I have is this movie was released 1 week before O.J. Simpson led L.A. police on a chase in a white Bronco after he was suspected of murder of his ex-wife and a waiter friend of hers. After the Bronco chase, many in the audience who saw the film noticed how closely the scenes from the film resembled the real-life Bronco chase, including the media coverage and aerial shots of LA freeways.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you remember that whole Bronco chase sequence, or are you a little too young for that?
No, I remember it. Yeah. That's all my grandmother ever had on the TV was all of that stuff.
My brother and I were actually super pissed off about that because him and I were watching the NBA finals between the Knicks and the Houston Rockets. And my brother was a huge Houston Rockets fan. They weren't his favorite team, but he liked Hakeem Olajuwon. And it literally went from being the Bronco chase was in a small box on the TV while the game was on the rest of it to where they flip-flopped, where the Bronco chase was like taking up most of the TV, and we got to watch the NBA finals in a box probably about the size of a Post-it note.
That's lame.
Yeah. What a time to be alive, 1994. Did you have any fun facts at
I do have some fun facts. Not a lot of casting facts, although I try and steer clear of those because I know those are your wheelhouse. I do have a couple of funny mistakes that I found.
Also, you found a mistake outside of like where somebody's name got fucked up. It's either IMDb fucked up or the movie, but go ahead.
Yeah, the movie did. So the movie actually did when we did Alien a while ago, which you can listen to anywhere you get your podcasts.
There you go, Adam. You're getting into that.
Just get into the groove. Gotta get back into the groove after we've been off for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did Alien a while back, I noticed a couple of redubbing scenes where they dubbed over the actual scene so the character's mouth doesn't move. They did that a lot in this movie. They did that for a couple of things that Dennis Hopper said, but the most noticeable one, and I'm just going to pick out the most noticeable one because there's like 4 or 5, was when Annie, Sandra Bullock's character, says that's a great plan when she's like, talking to Keanu Reeves. I think it's like the first or second time they have an exchange, and she's like, "Oh, that's a great plan." Her mouth does not move, but like she says that whole line, and it's like 2 or 3 seconds. You can hear dialogue. And there are no mouths moving at all.
I wonder if that has to do with the fact that they've got a camera running inside of a bus, and they don't have a lot of room for like noise to travel, so they had to go and do that. But come on, man, this is not a Hong Kong movie dubbed by a third-rate like American distributor. This is like a fucking big budget Hollywood film.
Right. Yeah. And you would expect them to be a little bit more careful about things like that. But I guess maybe you said that the movie wasn't finished. It ran out of money. So maybe that lots of reshoots, which leads me to my next fun fact. They did a lot of reshoots on the highway scenes. And according to the director, it was just a logistical nightmare because they had to reset all of the cars to their starting points and get them to where they needed to reshoot so they could actually cut it into the movie and it be flawless. That would suck to have to do an entire fleet of cars, like police cars and buses and helicopters.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would have to be to where you had to like make a mark for them to go back.
Yeah. It's like, all right, this is our starting mark. I wonder how many takes it took for some of those highway scenes. It had to have been super expensive.
That's why I don't direct films.
Right. On the one scene where Keanu Reeves is trying to get on the bus and he's like running and tapping on the glass. He actually taps on the glass so hard that it breaks. That's actually a mistake that they left in the movie because they thought it looked cool.
That is cool where he
just smacks it and it breaks.
Like, damn, like Keanu Reeves, like maybe they've made the right call him cutting his hair because it's like it seemed like he gained superhuman strength.
Yeah. He's like reverse Samson. He gains superhuman strength if he has short hair. um, and the one of the last facts that I have is I guess it was during an interview on, I think it was the Ellen DeGeneres show. I'm not sure, but they had Sandra Bullock, and it's been confirmed by both Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. But apparently, they had a thing for each other during this movie. They were like really into each other, and they just never said anything to one another, and they just went about their separate ways. But
I mean, I could see it. They have I love Keanu Reeves, but no one's going to confuse him for being Sir Laurence Olivier. But the two of them have impeccable chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
And I mean, in terms of Sandra Bullock, like I told Lucas, I said, has there been like a female character that, like, I don't know, that like just is everything that you would want in like a partner more than like Sandra Bullock is in Speed? Like, she's super charming in this. She's just knockout gorgeous in this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a badass.
She is, yeah.
I mean, I see why she became a star.
Yeah, for sure. This movie was like perfect role for her.
Yeah, like I know for a fact 1994 Russ was like head over heels smitten with Sandra Bullock after Speed.
Sandra Bullock, I mean, I'll just flat out say it. Sandra Bullock's still, pretty good looking. I mean, of course she's older, but Sandra Bullock.
I haven't seen her in anything in a while.
I think the last thing I saw her in was Bird Box, which wasn't good, but
I know she was in that Lost City that came out, her and Channing Tatum. And I forgot about Bird Box. I think the thing I remembered before that was she did the Oceans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ocean's 8.
Yeah, it was the Lost City was, I think, the last thing she was in. But man,
I remember watching The Blind Side, but now that certain things have come out about that, it doesn't seem like such a great movie anymore.
No, it's coming more and more like it's made up. Oh yeah, she makes that cameo in Bullet Train. Yeah, Lost City was the last thing she was in, 2022.
Wow.
Still a babe though. All right, is that all the fun facts you got?
Yep, that's all the fun facts that I had.
All right, good stuff, man. The Martin Scorsese This Is Cinema Award for the best scene in the movie. Now, my nominee is not my favorite scene in the movie, but I think it's pretty obvious that the best sequence of the movie's got to be the bus jump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of the most iconic film scenes of the 90s period. And this is going to be that's going to be the sequence that everyone's going to remember from this movie. But my personal favorite sequence is the elevator scene at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I really like that scene. I dig it.
I mean, you could tell they borrowed from Die Hard quite heavily during that.
Yeah. I mean, it's elevators. Like,
but I think what I really liked about it most was he's not in it a lot. He's primarily in the beginning of the movie. Then he has like a brief, like off and on the screen, and he has probably one of the greatest oh shit faces in the history of film. But I really like the chemistry between Jeff Daniels and Keanu Reeves too.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels is like you said, he's not in this movie a lot, and we'll probably have some categories with Jeff Daniels in it a little bit later on. But I really dig his performance in this movie.
Second, the first of two performances of a character named Harry in 1994. He was Harry Dunn in Dumb and Dumber that came out in December.
Yeah. That's true.
Two totally different people, but the same name.
Yep.
Can you imagine flip flopping them? How would the movie work then?
Oh God.
I would just love to see him like when he's trying to talk Keanu Reeves out of like doing something stupid, and he delivers it like Harry Dunn when he tries to turn down Lauren Holly's character for a date. He goes, well, I really gotta, like, yeah, sure, what time?
That's great.
But yeah, that's my favorite sequence of the movie, but I think it's the bus jump scene for sure. Is there any scenes outside of the bus jump that stand out for you?
Yeah, I like the sequence where they're getting the bus driver off the bus, and I don't even know if she's Annie's friend, but the older woman that's sitting next to Annie wants to get off the bus and gets blown up basically and ran over by the bus. It just, the stakes raise at that point, and like everybody's like on high alert trying to get this bus driver off safe.
I'll
everybody
be perfectly honest. That's the one character death scene I did not care whether she lived or died.
See, I didn't care. Like, you can tell she's gonna die because she's like, I gotta go. Like, they did that twice in this movie. They did that in the elevator with the one lady that didn't want to get off, and then it was the exact opposite where the lady wanted to get off, and that was what killed her.
Yeah. But
I like that scene just because it's got the high of getting the bus driver off the bus. Plus you have like the tension of the bus trying to keep up with the truck next to it. And then you also get the lady dying, and then everybody realizing like, oh shit, we're probably going to die.
Now I've got a serious question to ask you about the bus driver. Does he not look like a caveman?
No, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like a textbook, like, interpretation of a caveman. The first time I seen it, I was a kid. I was like, that dude looks like a fucking caveman.
It's his hairline. It's a weird hairline.
Yeah. Good actor. I still get bummed out when Sam gets shot. Like, when he gets shot, like, fuck, man, Sam. Like, just come on, Sam. You gotta pull through, dude.
Yeah.
He's the bus driver that I want.
Yeah, exactly.
So are we saying it's the bus jump scene? Best scene in the movie?
It's the bus jump scene. Yeah.
The Andy Dufresne Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying award for the best or most quotable line from the movie. I'm going to say Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Pop Quiz Hot Shot was mine as well.
Yeah. Because I think back in, like after this movie come out, that line had a little bit of run. Like, I mean, it didn't have a long shelf life, but I think for, the summer, people were using that.
Right. I wonder how many knew the entire line, like, Quiz Hot Shot, there's a bomb on a bus. Like,
yeah. Well, I did have that whole sequence on our TikTok channel until TikTok sent me something to take it down because I violated copyright infringement.
Oh, well,
I was like, why are you picking on me, TikTok? Like, you've got people that post shit all the time and their videos are up, but you're picking on me.
Right. They have like, there's so many TikToks with copyrighted music. It's insanity.
But no, we're going to pick on the fucking podcast that like 15 people listen to. Fuckers, I hope you get banned.
I think that Pop Quiz Hot Shot's good though, because not only is it in Speed, but Sonic the Hedgehog's favorite movie is Speed. And he quotes that line consistently in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now, how big of a twist would it have been if Sonic the Hedgehog was in the movie Speed?
Yeah, there you go. You just see him like he speeds along the highway and then like grabs underneath the bus and holds it up while it's jumping and then speeds away after the bus lands.
What if Sonic the Hedgehog was asleep and Dennis Hopper's character strapped a bomb to him and he had to stay above 50 miles an hour? He'd blow up.
I think he would do it easily though. He would just take a stroll around the block like, all right, I got that.
Well, he has to keep running above 50 and like, wouldn't he get tired?
He probably would. It would be like that baseball scene in the Sonic movie where he's like going around in circles and he like kind of digs himself into a ditch.
Maybe we should make that a category, like just like what would be a perfect mashup with this movie. Sonic the Hedgehog and Speed together.
Perfect.
The Hedgehog has to stay above 50 or else he'll blow up. All right. So yeah, we're in agreement too that Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Yeah.
I do like how when the TV says that the bus drivers are scared, like basically it says the whim of a madman, and then Dennis Hopper likes the sound. He goes, yeah, whim of a madman.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm a madman.
I've quoted that one a couple times too. The McLovin Award for the best supporting or scene stealing performance, I'm giving this to Jeff Daniels. It was tough between him and Joe Morton because they're both really good, but I'm giving it to Jeff Daniels because I love Jeff Daniels. I think he's probably one of the most underrated actors that is going right now. Never in anything bad except for Dumb and Dumber 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was a paycheck movie. But I mean, he's usually reliable.
Right.
And he's really good in this.
Yeah, he is. You don't see him a lot. Like he's the guy that he's your normal everyday cop. Like the exchange that both of them are having at the beginning. It's like, why do I do this job? Oh yeah, for a small pension and a tiny gold watch. And then, they get through that and they party and he has a hangover the next day. He's like a normal guy, the entire movie. He's just a normal guy, but you can't help but really like him because he has good chemistry with Keanu Reeves. And like, yeah, he figured out the mystery, but then he met his demise in the middle and you kind of feel bad because he's like, he's a normal guy. He's just wanting his tiny pension and his gold watch.
Well, this was originally written as Harry being the bad guy in this.
Oh, really? I wouldn't like that.
No, I wouldn't have either. Jeff Daniels doesn't really strike me as like a villain type. They nailed it with Dennis Hopper as the villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's who I'm giving it to. I mean, like I said, I really like Joe Morton, but it just the chemistry between the two of them, and I really like he's kind of like Jack has like two sides of his character, like the sensible side. And I think that's what Harry was for him. Like, don't do this, Jack. But of course, he's got the devil. Like, I'm going to do it anyways.
Right.
And plus, like, I'm bonus points for like, literally, like, he has the best I'm fucked face in the history of film when he sets off that trip.
Yeah. It perfectly encapsulates like, oh shit.
That's literally my face every day I go to work.
Yeah. I can feel what he's feeling in that moment. And it's just like, oh no.
Yeah.
You can see it, the gears turning in his head. He's just like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yep. It's like, well, I'm fucked. But yeah, Joe Morton also super awesome in this too. But yeah, it's gotta be Jeff Daniels.
Agreed.
The IMDb Drug Dealer #2 award for the actor or actress you have seen in the movie, but you don't know who they are. Now, I've actually got quite a few contenders for this one.
Okay.
Carlos Carrasco is Ortiz. For those of you that like prison movies, I know I'm a big fan of him. He played Popeye in Blood In, Blood Out.
Okay.
Well, that's not a prison movie. It's more of like an LA gangs movie, which I also am a big fan of. Beth Grant as Helen, that old bat that gets blown up. She was in No Country for Old Men. She was actually Keanu Reeves' mom in The Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
John Capodice is Bob, the bus driver. He's the bus driver that gets blown up. That's Aguado in Ace Ventura.
Okay, that's what I know him from. See, I didn't have anybody for this category because I couldn't think of anybody that I knew from other movies, but there you go. That would be mine.
And then the last one is Richard Lineback. He played Norwood. He's like Joe Morton's second in command. He's Lance Harbor, the Paul Walker character's dad in Varsity Blues.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm totally giving this to Aguado. I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy strictly because he was such a dick to Ace Ventura.
Yeah. He was.
And also 94, big Jim Carrey year. Ace Ventura was beginning in 94, and he tail ended it with another person in this movie.
See, there you go. And Jim Carrey was in Sonic the Hedgehog, who likes speed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, which we're gonna brainstorm that speed or that Sonic the Hedgehog 4, but we can't get Dennis Hopper because he's passed away.
Right. We can make Jim Carrey be the Dennis Hopper character. He'll play a combination of.
He's kind of already channeling that, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm a madman.
All right. The most 1994 moment of the movie. I'm going to say it's none of the passengers on the bus have a cell phone. Because if they did, if this movie was made today, you would see like tons of people like doing like TikToks and, Instagram lives, whatever, and posting them on social media.
Yeah. I'm on a bus. Oh man, like
they're live tweeting like, hey, like the cop that's on this bus just dipped.
or Alan Ruck's character. He would be the worst one, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He was like, I just helped. Like he would have been the guy. Like, yeah, I just helped a police officer.
Yeah, I was just here to be a tourist in LA, and I helped a police officer.
I'm a hero. Hashtag hero.
My most 1994 moment of the movie had to have been when Dennis Hopper called the payphone.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're not.
You don't see that. Yeah, they're not a thing. Not anymore. Maybe in LA. I don't know. Maybe there's an old one somewhere around there.
I'm trying to think of what would be like the peak movie, like the peak moment for payphones in movies. I mean, I would say it'd probably be Superman because he was like,
yeah. There was that movie Phone Booth, but I mean,
I'd still say Superman though.
Right.
But yeah, like that's a good one too because like, or another one would be when they find out that they are being there's a camera on the bus and the video, like the cameraman has the cassette tape.
Oh yeah, and they record the cassette tape. Yeah,
and he keeps telling him to tape it. It's like, come on, Jeb Ward, just fucking pump your brakes for a minute. Like it records in real time. You can't record in the future, dude.
We only have a minute of tape.
Run it. This next category is a brand new category that I created primarily for Adam, who's a big fan of music and movies. This is the John Williams Award for Best Use of Music in the Movie. So I'm going to let you cook for a minute, and then I'll give you my nominee.
Okay. There is the riff when they're doing the bus jump, and it kind of pauses for a minute there. I don't know what it is about music, but like whenever there is a stop in one of the instruments playing, or some of the if it's vocal, like it being a cappella, that creates a lot of tension, and they definitely pulled that off during the bus jump scene.
Now, see, I like the piece right before when, like, if you have not seen this movie before, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, but the movie's fucking 30 years old. But they're playing like the main credits. They're playing it slower, and you don't know whether they're going to die or not.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is a really cool moment. I would give it. I really like it when they call back to earlier riffs too. So that's probably better than mine. But they're both really cool moments.
I'm going with the end credits. Billy Idol's "Speed" plays during the credits, and I won tickets to see Billy Idol. I think it was last year, and I am not I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a huge Billy Idol fan. Like, I dig some of his stuff. I know all the big hits.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at my wife and I said, this concert will be fucking awesome if he plays "Speed."
Yeah.
And about an hour into the show, still hadn't heard anything. I'm like, he's not going to play. It's too obscure of a fucking song. And then he comes, he talks to the crowd for a minute, and then he says, this next song was featured in a film about a bus. And I'm like, fuck, he's playing "Speed." And he fucking played it.
That's
awesome. So awesome. So that's my nominee, is "Speed" playing over the credits. It's actually, to me, it's one of Billy Idol's best songs.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's not part of the score.
Well, but it's a new category.
Yeah.
We still need to tinker with it a bit. I just said best use of music.
Music, that's right. So we will allow it because it is the best use of music in this movie. I will agree with you there.
Okay. Maybe we'll just keep it like that, because you're like, I love film scores. Not quite as much as you. I still love them, but I'm also a big soundtrack guy. So if we did The Crow, and then that that 9 Inch Nails song, I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but if that song's in there, I'm like, yeah, that's the winner of this.
I know you haven't seen it, but there is a portion of the Stranger Things TV series where they use Master of Puppets, and oh my god, it's great.
I do know that one of the characters plays it to stop some kind of catastrophic event.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It is one of the best uses of that song. So good.
Well,
it makes the scene.
The missus actually has a Raglan shirt. It's a Metallica Hellfire Club.
Oh, nice.
Shirt. So yeah, she got one of those. So I will give it to yours, because since this is this category's maiden voyage, it's only fair for your choice to win.
Well, I mean, and we got to give credit to the composer. I think his name is Mark
Mancina. Yeah.
Mancina. Yeah. He hasn't done a whole bunch of like well-known stuff by himself, but he's helped out on some scores like Twister and Training Day and Tarzan. So like he's got a pretty good portfolio.
So he's more like a composer helper?
Yeah, he's more of a like an arranger of music, but he did compose the music for Speed. So yeah.
All right.
He's the composer.
I'm totally cool with that. Okay. Another new category, the Dolores Umbridge Award for biggest nitpick about the movie. This is I couldn't think of a better movie Karen off the top of my head. So if any of you listening to the show can think of a bigger Karen than Dolores Umbridge, please shoot us an email or write the show. Let me know, and I'm totally cool with tinkering with the name of this.
Right, we can tinker with it, but I doubt anybody finds a movie Karen that's more Karen than Dolores Umbridge.
Yeah. My biggest nitpick is Jack has pretty much, for the most part, been a very stoic hero. I mean, he doesn't really try to find too much humor in anything, but then the fight scene with him and Howard on the top of the train, and then, of course, Howard dies by getting his head knocked off, and he says, "But I'm taller." That makes me cringe.
Yeah. That's super cringy. And then when she asks where he is, he says, "Oh, he lost his head,"
Yeah,
or something like that.
I think there's certain movie characters, like action stars, that can pull that off. Keanu Reeves is not one of them.
No, I agree.
Save that for Arnold, and Arnold and Bruce were probably the two best at being like wisecracking or making like little quips like that.
Yeah.
And even Arnold sometimes, like later on in his career, he got a little bit cringy too. Like in Eraser.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's change the name of this category to the Jack Traven, but I'm taller award for the biggest or the cringiest moment of the movie.
Yeah, but see, I have a moment that's not cringy, but it is a nitpick of mine.
Okay, go ahead.
So in the same scene, actually, the subway scene. Now there's a lot of this movie that is contrived plot, which it's fine because it's an action movie. So I always suspend my disbelief, especially like with the bus jump scene. That's freaking cool. I'm not gonna, oh, the bus could never make it. It's 50 feet and it's cool. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna enjoy it. They tried to do it again in the subway. It's like, why are these police not up to date on what is in construction and what's not? But they try and warn him. They're like, hey, the track's not finished. And we're like, oh, we're doing this again. Okay. But we're doing it with a subway train now. And he says, I'm going to jump it. I'm going to, throttle up and we're going to jump the track. Okay, cool. Why don't you throttle down?
Well, don't they shoot the control panel or something happens where the brakes aren't working or
the brakes aren't working, but he can throttle down to going to like close to zero. He doesn't have to hit the brakes. They can go like 5 miles an hour and jump off the train.
But I thought like the control board gets shot.
It does. Yeah. He can't use the brakes, but he can still throttle up and down because the throttle works.
See, Adam, that's one of the many reasons why you're on here is the voice of reason. If anything, we should be movie consultants. That would be something you would point out, like, listen, Jan, come here a minute. Let me talk to you for a minute. Like, hey man, you don't have to do this.
Just throttle down. And then like, while it's going 5 miles an hour, just like, try and undo her handcuffs. And then like, it's a subway train. Kick the pole out. I'm sure the pole is loose already because it's a subway in LA.
You said
kick the pole out. And then, hop off the train. It's going 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, like, that makes perfect sense. But then again, though, like, when you sit and, like, look at it, it's like, it makes for a thrilling final set piece, too.
And they go through the thing in the end, like the wall, and land in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater. And I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is playing there, if I remember correctly.
I believe it is.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's a cool scene. But that was my nitpick. Like, why didn't they just throttle down?
Yeah. I don't get it either. But it's one of those things where, like, back in the 90s too, like they didn't really try to make their movies super smart. They just tried to, it was all about bigger explosions, bigger stunts, the whole nine.
Not only are we going to jump a bus in this movie, we're going to jump a train.
I wish they would have done that in fucking Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah.
Just jump that movie right out of theaters. That movie's fucking... Have you seen Speed 2?
I watched like, I'd probably say half of that movie and was angry by the midpoint and decided to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad movie.
It's probably one of the most unnecessary sequels that have ever been made.
Yeah.
That might be my biggest nitpick. It's like this, you had a perfect movie. You didn't have to fucking make a second one.
See, but that would be a nitpick for the second movie, though.
Well, I mean,
The
true,
first
but
movie
like
has,
this first one didn't have to be like if the first one was like too awesome, they had to make a sequel to it.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's almost 10:30 at night. I'm starting to get slap happy. My wits aren't about me. The Indiana Jones It Belongs in a Museum award for the prop that you would most want for your personal collection. I actually would like to have either the joystick that Sandra Bullock has to hold, or Howard's gold watch that's strapped to the bomb that's on the bus.
Yeah, both of those are great. Yeah. I can't really think of anything small enough other than like, all the vehicles that are in the movie. I don't want an entire bus. And apparently they had 13 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a fleet of 13 buses. So
I don't want a fleet of one. I don't know where I'd put it. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with a fucking passenger bus? I
wouldn't mind having the table at like the workbench that had all those tiny little CRT TVs on it that Dennis Hopper was watching, just as like, a command center of like old media. I would have like a VHS player on it, and like I would play old movies and watch them on like a gajillion screens.
There you go. Keanu Reeves' shirt too would be a cool one to have, like where it's got like the black. Cool. That'd be a cool one too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, obviously the bus doesn't fit into the house.
No.
You could actually turn the bus into your house.
Yep. It's big enough.
The Hall of Fame award for career achievement in film. This award is if they were going in the Hall of Fame, would this movie be featured on their Hall of Fame plaque? Keanu Reeves, very interesting case.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be between this and The Matrix and John Wick.
I think The Matrix wins. This movie was really close. John Wick is also really good, but I think more people recognize Keanu Reeves from The Matrix just because everybody does the whole bullet time scene, right? And he was the one that did that. So
I think for Keanu, it would be right now, it would be The Matrix, but I think if you do 20 years down the road, it might be John Wick.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
I mean, The Matrix really hasn't been relevant. Like, I mean,
Right.
The first one came out in 99. The sequels were not very good, whereas John Wick's been a consistently strong franchise during its run, and they've got a spin-off movie coming out of it. They've got a television program. I would say it would be John Wick because, I mean, Keanu Reeves is still going, so but needless to say, it's probably not for Speed.
Not for Speed. Yeah. Maybe I'm just out of touch with the kids these days. I'm just getting too old.
Well, imagine how old I am then. That Keanu Reeves, he's no Steve McQueen.
I think we've been over this before. You're not too much older than I am, so the age gap isn't that far off.
I know, but I feel old. Sandra Bullock.
This movie. Oh man.
She does have an Academy Award.
She does. Man, I really like her in this movie, though. I want to say yes, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I really want to say yes to this too, but she's got quite a collection of movies that you could pick from. Gravity.
Oh yeah,
which Gravity was like huge. I think she got a Best Actress nomination for that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. The Blind Side, the fictitious portrayal of a abandoned,
apparently a terrible person, but just allegedly, I guess. I don't know. I'm not there. I just read the newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not really a newspaper anymore. It's the articles on the web, but yeah.
I read a web article. Dennis Hopper.
Oh man, this is one of my favorite Dennis Hopper movies.
I'm going to say he's probably always going to be remembered for Easy Rider.
You're right. Yeah.
Or if not that, Apocalypse Now. Because he's like fucking awesome in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. This is probably, and this is just my opinion, not like my opinion as a cinephile, but my opinion as just me. I'd prefer him in Speed, but yeah, those other movies are great.
My favorite portrayal or Dennis Hopper role is actually in Hoosiers. I fucking love Hoosiers, and he's arguably the best thing about that movie. It's him and Hackman, but that's a great sports movie too. But
yeah,
I would say post-apocalypse now Dennis Hopper would be Speed. Because Speed kind of kicked his career back into where he was getting A-list roles again. Like I think he was a villain in Waterworld. Kind of put him in a new, like, okay, we can cast this guy as a villain if we need one. So I'd say post-apocalypse now, Dennis Hopper, yeah.
Speaking of Dennis Hopper, I just want to add an extra thing about his character in this movie. Why did he reach his hand over when he was talking on the phone? What, like to the other ear? Why didn't he just put it up to the ear that the hand was on? I know his hand was blown up, but like not his ear.
Maybe it's just a nervous tick.
Yeah, maybe. Like it was always like he wrapped his entire arm around his face and put the phone on his opposite ear. It was weird.
Well, he is a madman.
He is a madman.
And maybe that's just part of like, this guy's fucking crazy. Like he's using his left hand. He's got the phone on his right ear. Who fucking does that? Oh, I know who. A madman. Jan de Bont.
Yeah, I think this is one of his better films. I think you were telling me that his last film that he had directed was the Tomb Raider and the Cradle of Life.
Yeah, like I don't understand why he didn't have a longer career directing movies. He did Speed, he did Twister. He did Speed 2. He did The Haunting, and then he did the Tomb Raider sequel. Now, Speed and Twister were huge films. I mean, like, I know Twister was like one of the biggest movies of 96.
Yeah, I think it was 6.
And then, of course, Speed was a huge hit. Speed 2 obviously was a colossal failure. But I do remember The Haunting because I had Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones. That was a fairly successful horror movie, which horror movies don't cost anything to make anyway. So, I mean, that was a profitable film. And he did the Tomb Raider sequel. Then after that, he just vanished, didn't do anything else.
Which, it's fine, I guess. But like, he wasn't a terrible director. Like he still had some pretty good hits. And like, and I'm saying, yeah, for Speed for this, because while I really, really like Twister, I think Speed is the more widely accepted action film.
Well, too, if Speed wasn't a hit, he doesn't get to do Twister either.
Right. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't do more movies. He was an okay director.
Yeah, like if Rennie Harlan can keep making movies, Rennie Harlan bankrupted a fucking studio, which I've talked about on a couple of different episodes. He bankrupted a fucking studio, but yet he's still consistently working to this day.
Right.
Jan de Bont has a couple missteps, and unless it's like like he just decided to step away, like, you know what, I'm done with the Hollywood process. I don't want to make movies anymore. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I think that he's a fine director. Like if we were starting to list directors that we didn't like, I don't think he would even crack my top 10. Like he does a pretty good job.
Oh, I found it. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say I don't necessarily like all of the movies that he did, but like the Tomb Raiders were okay, but they weren't like fantastic.
He quit making movies.
Hmm.
And I guess apparently it was how the studios became started interfering in more and more of the actual process of filmmaking, and he kind of got tired of it, so he quit. Which that makes sense.
It does. That does make sense, and studios do that to this day. So
okay, now that explains a lot, because like I was trying to figure, like, yeah, he was. I mean, wasn't a bad director. He's got more hits than misses.
yeah,
I definitely would have given him another shot at something, but apparently he quit on his own.
that's fine. I think this deserves to be in his Hall of Fame, though.
Yeah, I would give it to Speed too. So yeah, like I said, without Speed, he's not doing Twister anyway. So
Right.
but all right, that's all we got for today. Adam, got any final parting words?
Yeah. Speed's great. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yep, the
Very
best,
good movie.
the best Die Hard on a Blank movie in film history.
Yes.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. And we normally don't tell you what we're doing next, but I feel since we kind of shit the bed on like delaying this, like wanted to give you guys a heads up on what we're doing next. We are in the midst of summer movie season, arguably the best time of year to be a movie fan. So me, Adam, and hopefully a special guest or two, we're going to do a Hall of Fame episode, the Summer Blockbusters Hall of Fame. So we're going to induct the biggest summer blockbusters of all time into our Hall of Fame. So I think we've got our list narrowed down to what were a few of the films, but we should have some stuff to argue about too. So yeah, it's going to be the Summer Blockbuster Hall of Fame. So we're going to pick.
If we have some special guests, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, I hope you guys and gals picked up on that. So, yeah, that's coming up. Hopefully next week, if life doesn't get in the way again, we can get back to our regular routine.
Right.
So, that's going to do it for this episode, guys and gals. Please be sure to check out the show description. You can follow us on our social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. You can email us at the show as well. That is in the description as well. And if you like what you heard today, please, please, please leave us a 5-star review and be so kind as to take a brief moment to write out a review. You can even say that show rocks, that show sucks. I don't care. Just write something. Preferably the show rocks, because we think it does. So please take the time to do that. And until next week, fingers crossed, we will talk to you guys and gals later.